gonna. Is it Cocaine Bear? Are we allowed to say that on the radio?
Yeah.
And it's time for this.
FM.
Ocean Drives films on Thursday with Eclipse Dine-In Cinemas Bundoran. Now serving pizza, hot dogs, ice cream and more to your seat. Find out more at eclipsecinemas.com.
Well, it's what Thursdays were made for, folks. Time to join our man at the movies, Collie McFadden, with the very latest from Eclipse Cinemas up there in Bundoran. Collie!
How you doing, Seamie? Welcome, good day from
Wake
very
up.
busy Bundoran. Yeah, wake up. A very busy Bundoran, I'll have you know, because, you know, all the factors are there. It's miserable weather. It's midterm. And you know, there's some good movies out. Now, a couple of them mightn't be quite shamey movies, but they are good movies. Like Puss in Boots is packing them in. Absolutely packed today. And here's a funny phenomenon I've noticed, right? I nearly couldn't say that word. All week, right? We talked a lot about last week about Magic Mike, right? Not necessarily our type of movie, but it was a big movie coming out. And what is funny, obviously it did quite well against some of the some of the sport that's been on lately. But here's the thing I noticed. When it's been in one of our normal screens, it's done okay. People have enjoyed it. People have liked it. When it's in the director's lounge, packed out. So obviously there's an audience at Magic Mike who don't just want to look at Channing Tatum with no shirt on, but they want to make sure they're in a very comfy chair. I've never seen it like this. It's so, like one night there was 2 people at it. The next night, 50 sold out.
Full house.
Yeah, and it's just funny the way it goes. So obviously,
but it's a good girly film, though, isn't it?
If you're going to kick back, you need to relax. You know, there's jokes there that we're not allowed to do at 5:45 in the morning, but it's been a busy old week, and I think tomorrow's only going to get busier with our big new Marvel movie. Now,
here we go.
People on video won't be able, or only the people who watch the video will be able to see this. When I say Marvel or superhero movie, a little part of Seamie dies each time. You're just not a big fan. So, but I always try and get you a little bit enthusiastic. This one is Antman and Wasp, Quantumania. It's the 3rd Antman. It's about the 75th superhero movie, and it's the start of phase 5. I realize none of that means anything to you, Seamie, but we'll play the clip and see if anything resonates for you.
Scotland, your reality, everything you're holding on to, I know how it ends. Reality League, Antman.
The clip is great.
Well, there you go. I'm glad you liked the clip.
The only thing I can say about this is probably going to make gazillions.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
okay. Right.
Load a truck full of money up to Marvel's house, because that's the only way to deliver it. But here's the thing about these movies. People sometimes say to me, believe it or not, people do ask me, they go, how do you, go on the radio and chat about all these movies and stuff? Like, do you study them or something? I go, no, I like movies and I like talking. And Seamie lets me talk about movies for 10 minutes a week, and it's easy. However, these are the hardest movies to talk about because we're so far into the Marvel universe that, unless you're into it, you're not going. Nothing I can say is probably going to persuade somebody. There is no one under the age of 20 who's going to hop on board in this one. They're either going to go back to the start or they're not interested. It's kind of like, so it sounds like damning with faint praise, but often when I go out to a restaurant, there's all these beautiful desserts, but I really do like vanilla ice cream. I love 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream at the end of the night, just to kind of, bit of palate cleanser, but it's really nice. It's just so good at what it does, right? I've had a big, rich dinner, loads of sauce and stuff. Sometimes I just want vanilla because it's so good at what it does. And that's what this is. It's so good at what it does. It's easy to sort of downplay it. It is not one of the groundbreaking superhero movies. So of the Marvel ones, what they do is they have good time. Oh, there's a change of direction here. Then go back to good time, big climax. and then they start again. That's the way they do it. It's this old cycle. This is one of the just good time movies. Even though we meet this guy called Kang, who you heard there go, I'd go to burn them out of time. He's the Lord of Time. We've met, if you watch the TV programs, you've met him before. And he's a good bad guy, if you know what I mean. He's an interesting character. He's played by a guy called Jonathan Majors, who we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks' time, because he's the bad guy in Creed 3. The spin-off of the Rocky movies. So he's a young actor who's doing really well. And he's a very engaging presence. But this is just, Paul Rudd plays Antman. He's good crack. Evangeline Lilly is a Wasp. She's, good superhero. And then their parents are Michael Douglas, having a ball, and Michelle Pfeiffer, still great. Still one of my all-time favorite actresses. Why isn't she in more movies? I'd watch her all day. This stuff she could do in her sleep, but she goes in for it full on. All the mystery, and I should have told you this before. Oh, blah, blah. So I really had a good time watching this. I watched it this morning at the ridiculous hour of 8 a.m. And, went in, kind of hovering over my coffee, thinking, will they let me turn on the heat or not? I better just watch the movie. And I watched the movie and I really enjoyed it. And one of my colleagues, Stephen, who's a huge Marvel fan, much more than me, and we both agreed afterwards that was really entertaining. And if it was the first one, our minds would be blown. But because, kind of like the vanilla ice cream thing, I think people who are fans will go, that was really good. In 3 years' time, will I remember Antman and the Wasp Quantumania the same way as I remember like Thor 3 or 4? I might get a bit confused between them, but that's only because they're so good at this. They make everything look easy. Throwing this amount of money and action at the screen, it's also only about an hour and 50 minutes, just about right. The kids for midterm are going to love it. And if you've a little one at home that's a big Marvel fan, they're going to really enjoy it. And here's the important thing, because let's face it, it's more likely the mums and dads listening. Are you going to be bored out of your mind? Probably not. Will you know what's going on? Almost certainly not, unless you're a Marvel fan. But it's spectacular looking. I watched it in 3D, which is kind of making a bit of a comeback because it's all computer graphics, and that's where 3D works the best, when it's like a whole magical world. And it's good crack. You know what it is? It's midterm fun, Seamie. That's what it is. It's made for midterm. It's great fun. It's not going to win any Oscars or anything like that. There's no brilliant acting, but the jokes are good. The bad guy is fun, and the visuals are spectacular. So it does
I'd
exactly
probably watch
what
it just to see
tin.
Michael Douglas,
Yeah, he's really good in it. And you can see there's a bit of him going, I've got Oscars and stuff. I used to be a serious actor. And he's also going, but then they drove a truckload of money up to my house and gave me this. And he's having a good time. He's hanging out with Michelle Pfeiffer. I'd do that for free.
Absolutely. Okay, you recommended Antman. It's going to be absolutely packed out, so you want to get booked on that early. Missed It Monday, you've come back on one I haven't seen, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Megan with a 3.
Yeah, I remember we had a good laugh when we talked about Megan, and Megan with a 3. So she's the robot nanny that's given to this girl. And we were kind of wondering what it would be like, because it was one of those, when we were talking about it, I don't think I'd yet seen it. I've seen it since, and it is good fun. Now, it's not one bit scary, except for like the odd time she jumps up and goes, boo. What it is it's kind of a cross between Barbie and, if you remember, the Chucky dolls, particularly when the first couple, when it was funny and tongue-in-cheek. Now, it is as camp as a row of tents. She's already become a major gay icon, the way she dances, the way she moves, and it's already greenlit for sequels galore. It cost about 2 million to make. It's made about 150 million. It's good, silly camp fun. If you have a hard week and it's Monday and you're going, oh my God, what a hard week. Fiver, you can't go wrong. Silly, but funny. And also, the way the doll dances will be stuck in your head for ages. They got a young gymnast to play her and then superposed a robot head. Good crack. I'd recommend it for people who like a bit of silliness.
Missed It Monday for a $5, isn't
it? Can't go wrong for a $5, can you?
No, you can't go wrong. Right, you have something coming next week. I just got a quick mention before I let you go. A couple of minutes there. And I'm intrigued with Cocaine Bear, is it?
Cocaine Bear, filmed in Wicklow, but it's not set in Wicklow at all. So we've 2 movies. Talk about a palate cleanser, like I was talking about the the vanilla ice cream. Right, so we've got a romantic comedy called What's Love Got to Do With It, which looks really good. We've also got Cocaine Bear, which I've been waiting for ages because the title is hilarious. This is based on a true story. So there was a drug heist, and what they planned was they fly it over in a plane, and they knew they'd be caught when they landed the plane. So they threw it over at a designated site into the forest, and they planned to go and pick up the drugs later, right? After they threw it out of the plane, a bear found the drugs and decided to help himself and went on a bit of a rampage. Now, in the real story, I think that's all, and the poor bear was a bit upset, and they, was looked after by the wildlife people. That's fine. But Hollywood heard about this and went, let's do this, but the bear goes on a full-on rampage. And we talked about camp, silly horror movies. This is that sort of thing. The bear is kind of stalking people. The bear is attacking ambulances, as if a bear would know what an ambulance is. But the trailer is hilarious. Shamey, when you're finished at 7 o'clock, have a wee look at the trailer. You'll really enjoy it.
So this is filmed in Wicklow, was it?
Amazingly, it's filmed in Wicklow. Not one bit of it will you go. That's Wicklow. Now, I've been to Wicklow. Yes. And I can understand why they thought maybe casting some of the people down there as crazed drug bears might be a good idea if you've ever been to Arklow. But as far as I know, it's supposed to be set in like Ohio or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And it looks really fun. It's made by Elizabeth Banks, who was a big part of Pitch Perfect. So if it has that sort of wit and cleverness, and just talk about dumb fun. Absolutely, but the title alone, people will go and see it for the title alone. And we're going to get into so much trouble when we talk about it next week.
Okay, you're right. That was Collie on the movies. The latest from Eclipse Cinemas up there. Look, have a good week at the movies, Collie. We'll talk to you back here Thursday.
Cheers.
Thursdays with Eclipse 9.